live from the Sanctum Sanctorum, which I can't pronounce.
Only
It's
Magic
Comics
users
and
can say that.
Cocktails.
Hey,
with
everybody.
Ryan Buckley, Ian O'Neill, and myself, Sean Markle.
All right, episode
Excellent.
2.
So, we're going to talk about October releases.
Yeah.
Comics that we read that we liked.
We're 2 for 2 on amazing openings, by the way.
Yeah,
Of course.
absolutely.
Last time you bungled our name.
Yep.
So
You're doing it every time.
it's going to take a couple
It's all right,
times.
buddy.
Ouch. Okay. Well,
Okay, so before we start, should we talk about our drink this week?
yeah, absolutely. Ryan, what are we drinking this week?
Yeah, well, this is a long episode, so we can't load up on like crazy heavy cocktails. So I thought we'd do craft beers every time we do the monthly review. So the one I chose this time for the month of October is Lug Tread from Bose. They're a small craft brewery here in Ontario from Van Cleek Hill, and I have no idea where that is.
All right.
You guys know where Van Cleek Hill is?
No, but let's see.
This is a lagered ale. I don't know what
do?
that means.
I do not know.
Okay.
That's super
I was just saying we should show off the bottle.
Yeah, it has Death Star. Everybody has a Death Star bottle opener that's magnetized, right?
Absolutely.
Have you had any Bose before?
Yeah, I've had this like a zillion times.
Yeah. They make
Just this afternoon.
They make the Tom Green beer as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. So yeah,
Everyone's
so this is a
favorite
review show.
Canadian
A different
hero.
kind of comic.
They should make 4
I
color.
will be driving, so let's keep mine light.
That's a really great pour. Ian, are you driving?
I'm not. I think I should never drive.
And I
Me
think I
either.
will probably always drive.
Because I love drinking.
And anyways, let's
my new
get
catchphrase.
into some comics.
Yeah.
Now, Ian, tell us about a book that you read in October that you liked.
Okay, I will start us off with Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan, art by Cliff Chang and Matt Wilson. He's taken a break from Saga. He's had a few other books come out. We Stand on Guard, which is still going, and then Paper Girls, which started in October. It's been a fun book so far. It's had 2 issues.
Wait, cheers
Yeah, so cheers. Sanctum Sanctorum, cheers.
to
I
comics.
have Agamotto. That's good, eh?
It is
Yeah,
good.
it's nice.
Yeah.
First off, both the covers I think look super cool. They got like one of the main characters basically inked in black and white. Well, in black, and then just a bright. I think it's been yellow and red so far.
Yeah, very cool.
They've looked really good. And the book itself, they've built it as a Stand By Me with girls. I would say it's more of a Super 8 with
Okay.
girls because it definitely has like the sci-fi feel. Basically, it starts off with a young girl in a new city beginning her paper route, and she runs into some trouble and other paper girls, and some crazy sci-fi stuff starts happening. I'm not sure how much I want to give away.
Yeah, put that out there. We're going to spoiler the book. So if you haven't read it yet, that book's old. So
Yeah, it's been out for a few weeks now. So it's Halloween, and they run into some trouble on the streets, and they find themselves in a house with a time machine type device.
Excellent.
you're calling it a
Already
time
on board.
machine?
Right?
I don't know what it is.
I love paper routes and time machines.
I thought it just looked like an old-fashioned like water heater.
A really
That's what time
old-fashioned
machine-
water heater.
That's what time machines look like.
But
okay.
they also find a small square device with an apple on it, which to them, being set in the, I want to say 80s.
Yeah, it's definitely 80s. The whole thing has that 80s. So I've only read the first issue,
one?
and I loved it. I haven't got around to reading
Yeah.
number 2 yet. But
The
have
art
you ever seen that
definitely-
movie from the 80s called Monster Squad?
It's very based on Monster Squad. I've never read or
So I've never seen it, but I asked that because one of the
Yeah.
characters has that poster on the wall of her bedroom in issue 1, and it had that total like 80s kind of ensemble feel. So
Yeah, I've heard it's being related to Monster Squad a few times. So yeah, they find a iPod or something. So there's some kind of time travel going on. I'm a sucker for time travel stories.
yeah, you don't like the X-Men.
Or Doctor Who.
Other cool time travel stories.
So by sucker, you mean you like this one?
Yes. I'm loving the art, the 80s feel, and the colors in the book are great. And Brian K. Vaughan's dialogue is always awesome.
Absolutely.
Have you guys been reading it other than the first issue, Sean?
Dialogue's great.
Yeah, I have read the first issue, and I have the second one waiting there for me to read, and I will definitely pick it up because I enjoy it quite a bit. Like you said, Brian K. Vaughan is kind of the man right now. I love everything he's written. I would say Why the Last Man is my favorite book ever to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something that really spoke to me. I was like, oh, I get this. Like this is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's interesting.
Well, you get it by like you just want to be the only man on a planet of women, or is that how you just see the world? I'm the only man, women.
Yeah, you're not wrong either way. But with Paper Girls, it's interesting to see a job. Like I like how they're playing with the idea that paper routes are still viable, and they have to set it back in the 80s to make sure that they are. So I'm definitely going to pick that up. What about you, Ryan? You going to read Paper Girls?
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to get number 2 for sure.
Yeah.
That's good so far. Brian K. Vaughan is really great. Did you read like that free comic he did online called Private Eye?
That wasn't free. You could pay whatever you wanted for it. So obviously,
well, you know what I wanted to pay.
I did read the Private Eye. I really.
I did not read that.
Wait, I did pay like about $10 each issue. Now that I remember.
Yeah, of course you did.
I did not read.
I really like the
Buckley
Private
mode.
Eye too. Yeah.
Inside joke
Yeah.
coming up.
And obviously he's writing Saga right now, which is like I think everyone's favorite book, pretty much. It's been on a bit of a hiatus for We Stand on Guard and Paper Girls, but
Can I like tell you something? Like, can I make a confession, I guess?
you don't like Saga?
No, I do, but I've been buying it in single issue and saving them, and because I read the first few and it read way better in the 6-issue story arcs. So I said I'm going to stop reading after issue 12. I have up to 30,
and
I haven't read from 13 on. You guys could spoil the shit out of that for me.
Well, we won't talk about Saga, but what I was going to say is while he's taking a hiatus, we're getting the quality of Paper Girls. I'm willing to wait for Saga, and Saga is a book I really enjoy.
I would say Brian K. Vaughan is one of the 5 writers who, if his name's on a book, I'm going to pick it up regardless of if it has monkeys in it or not. I'm not a big monkey fan. Excellent. Now, I want to talk about my next book, Batman and Robin Eternal.
Yes.
This is kicking off a weekly Batman event. So I'm going to talk about all the issues. I think there's up to issue 5 so far as of recording.
Yeah, weekly, like it feels like it comes out every other day. It's lightning fast.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like it's Dick Grayson, I'm going to say, is probably the main character in this Batman and Robin Eternal because it goes through it flashes back to when him and Bruce Wayne were the original Batman and Robin and kind of Robin's first case with Batman, and then a present day continuity where Dick Grayson is kind of the super spy and Batman is kind of off the table. So he has to kind of deal with this mess that Batman hasn't cleaned up yet. And it brought Cassandra Cain, one of the Batgirls, mainly from, I believe, No Man's Land, back into kind of the fold. And it's just a great detective story.
She's the mute one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you now.
She's the mute one. And like, that's what I love. That's like, give me a Batman that has like a long drawn out detective story and I get to read about it each week. Sign me up.
I have not been reading this. And one of the reasons why is because I have been burned on so many weekly DC series. I read Future's End. All of Future's End.
So there's Future's End. There was
52.
52 was
World's
great.
End.
Countdown.
52 was amazing.
bad.
Countdown was poor. Did you get Batman Eternal?
No.
It was
Batman
good.
Eternal was also fantastic. And I
have all
think
of them.
that's
I'll
what
sell them to
DC
you.
has done. Like, they messed up with Future's End and they messed up with Countdown, but making a weekly series that is one progressive mystery dealing with one small section that's not like shattering the entire status quo, it makes the weekly series seem so much more.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Spider-Man was coming out 3 times a month with Dan Slott, and like it was a great Spider book, and like it developed the cast, and like that's what Batman and Robin Eternal is doing, where it's just like it's not the main Batman book, but there's all this other stuff going around with the second tier Batman characters.
I don't know.
Batman's a good book for that. I thought Batman Eternal was really great, and I think this is the same kind of creative setup as the last one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Snyder and Tynion who are kind of acting like showrunners and doing the main plot, and then the individual ones, like is Tim Seeley from Grayson involved,
I believe so.
and like a whole host of different like artists. So,
it's really fun, and like it's fun that I get to read about it each week, and I like that fact.
You guys are definitely selling it well. I feel like the weekly series tend to fall apart after like 15.
Okay.
So maybe I'll wait until they pile up a bit. And then if I still hear, they usually do. And the middle drags, I don't know. when I start reading one, I usually commit to it. So I'm going to wait. If I still hear good reviews of this one at like issue 15, issue 20, then maybe I'll catch up.
Absolutely. Well,
is it going to be 26 issues long? Do we know how long it's going to be?
We don't. We do. It's out there, but we don't know because
it's not 52 issues.
I don't believe it's 52.
Only one was 52.
That sounds actually more promising.
Riley. I think it's going to be 26. But we'll fact check that, and then. But
maybe you've already.
It's not getting great reviews actually. Like if there's a site that we go to a lot that aggregates scores from all around the web, and I don't know. I think it's really inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this at work the other day. Like it's so like there's not enough reviews for an aggregate score to really have a good like reflection of the quality of the book, because a lot of the things they're pulling from like online, these sites are just like people's blogs. There's just idiots like us, and we'll have like a strong opinion about something and then strong opinion about something. So like I don't think I would rate a book like a 5. Like most books I read are like 9s or 2s.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a professional critic. I mean, I'm in it or I'm not, and like I don't have to be. That's not my job.
Yeah.
But they're aggregating these scores.
The best thing that I can say about Batman and Robin
stuff.
Eternal is that I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
So I want to see what happens. So now, Ryan, what have you been reading?
I'm the resident expert.
God damn it, that's stupid.
I didn't say. I only said
explicit.
I only said one E in that. By the way, did you guys only hear one E? I'm the expert. You hearing that?
You got it.
No, I do want to talk about the X-Men, like just because it came out this week, like, and it was I can't not talk about it because issue 600 came out after I think it was an 18-month delay, and Extraordinary #1 came out, so it's kind of a unique position. And one day you see a changing of the guard because Bendis and his team are done, and we see this new team of Lemire and Ramos coming on, and basically, long story short, for me, it was great. Like the new. Like out with the old, in with the new. I don't want to diss on Bendis' run because it had some high points for me, but at the end of it, like I just think ultimately not a lot. Well, I can't really say not a lot happened because we had the time displaced X-Men. So if you don't know the background story, that's how he started his run. Was that the Beast is upset by Cyclops' mutant revolution, and also the other minor thing he did where he killed Professor Xavier. And so he goes, so his solution is, instead of talking to him about it and man to man or writing him an angry letter or trolling him on his Facebook account, he goes back in time and brings back the young versions of the X-Men. And I guess his thought was like, well, he pretty much explains like that he's going to, when they're confronted by the younger, more like cells that really more epitomize the ideology of Professor X's dream,
sense where
see how far off the path they are.
If you could go back in to your high school self and relive it all and do it differently, would you? And that's kind of what Beast wants to explore.
Yeah.
And because it's an X-Men comic, he can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great plot point. And there's some things that have worked really well with it, some things that haven't. The highlights for me of his run in general, I guess this is a good time as I need to kind of do a bit of a retrospective look on it. Like there were some high points. The character that really stood out was the young Jean Grey. She gives no fucks.
This is true. She does not.
And great version of the character. Like the way that I think that character, because she's confronted like, wait, I die, all this bad stuff happens. And then she's like, I can either embrace the fatality of that or just be my own person. And she definitely does the latter. And that's her major character point.
And like growing up, my first experience with the X-Men was the 92 cartoon. And like that. Yeah, exactly. And I never really liked Jean Grey, mainly because like everyone had these cool names like Cyclops, Storm, Gambit.
I can see where you're
going. You love Gambit so much.
Jean Grey. Yeah, I do love Gambit so much.
Yeah, call her Marvel Girl or something.
Yeah, and like, or Phoenix.
I guess. Yeah, Phoenix would be
but
probably
like,
better.
So I was just like, oh, yeah, it's Jean Grey, the person I'm supposed to care about. But
yeah, it's brutal.
Bendis really made me care about like young Jean Grey.
Yeah, and the Trial of Jean Grey story arc is great if it's collected in trade. I would recommend that. And what was the other really good one? The Black Vortex crossover that they did with the young X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty cool.
Ian,
and has some great art in that too.
Ian, you're not really an X-Men guy, are you?
Yeah, I tend
to
tiptoe around the X-Men when they cross over with things I'm reading. That's when I'll read them basically. Or if there's a major event. So like Avengers versus X-Men from 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of major events that involved the X-Men after that I read. But I was reading Guardians, so I read Black Vortex. And that involved, I think, the younger X-Men.
Yeah, it was the younger team.
And I did enjoy that. And I'm going to jump into the new X-Men book because of Jeff Lemire. I like Jeff Lemire a lot.
He's doing two. He's doing Extraordinary X-Men, which I guess is the flagship title.
Yeah.
And then the Uncanny X-Men he's not doing, and that's more of like a X-Force, sort of darker, sort of, or what they call now the Extinction Team.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
He's also
he's
doing Old Man
Charles
Logan,
Soule?
which I guess
he's doing Old Man Logan,
which is an X book.
and All New, All Different, which is the young team.
Okay, and I did read Uncanny X-Force from a few years back too, because Deadpool was in it.
Yeah, you love Deadpool.
But I'm excited to try and get into the X-Men, and I hope with Jeff Lemire writing it, I can. I enjoyed the first issue, but there's definitely stuff that I think because I'm not super into the X-Men, I'm not getting all like the nuances. But
yeah, that's a good segue. We'll talk about the new one then. So Extraordinary X-Men, it's basically a story of getting the band back together. We've got our lineup is Storm as the leader, and she's at the beginning kind of talking about all the things that have happened in the 8-month gap between the old continuity pre-Secret Wars and what's happening now. Now we'll probably talk sometime about like how we feel about how disjointed this is because of shipping schedules. In the month of October, issue 8 of Secret Wars was supposed to have come out, and all of the Secret Wars tie-ins should be done, and all these new number ones would be coming out. So they've sort of half done that. All the new number ones are coming out, but everything else is not done yet. So the state of the world, there's like a really great splash page that talks about people like talk about MPOX and protesting against mutants.
So the Terrigen Mist that form Inhumans, or like bring the Inhuman power out of the Inhumans, also kills mutants
and sterilizes them.
Yeah. So which results in less mutants and no new mutants.
Right. So it's a critical time, and I like that. I think that's a pretty good premise and starting off spot. So on the team we have Storm and Iceman and Magic. And this one is, they're just kind of all coming together because Magic, I guess, has been teleporting around, finding mutants who are in trouble, and then bringing them back to the school to protect them because they're in such danger now. And there's a great scene of some bigotry, like a young girl with big eyes is about to be kind of, assumedly killed by an angry mob. X-Men's always got angry mobs.
And to be fair, like, out of the X-Men stuff I like, this is what I do really like about the
X-Men. I think it's going to be good.
I want them to be persecuted so I can like have that story, because truthfully, if you put them like Joss Whedon on his Astonishing X-Men run made the X-Men superheroes. There is really no difference between the X-Men and say the Avengers or something like that. They were there to like go save the world. But I like the X-Men that are just like, we are these different, we're just different, and like we have to live. So we're fighting for
survival.
And like I think that's a great story.
While also like, even though we're fighting for survival, we will still pitch in and save the world, even though no one's even going to give me like a thank you card. Like it just amps up the drama, and that's what it is, like a big like soap opera.
Yeah.
So the other characters we
with
have
laser eyes.
So again, we talked about the young Jean Grey, the time displaced teenage Jean Grey has decided to say screw everything, and she's going to college or university, and then Storm comes and kind of shames her into kind of joining them by doing some sort of mind link thing and showing her the state of what's happening in the world, which is pretty good. Like, it's a good plot device to bring us up to speed over this 8-month gap. And then they go back to Lake Baikal in Russia, which was formerly the Ust-Ordinsky Collective. And I love the way that Ramos is drawing Colossus. He's just massive.
Yeah, he was just like ridiculous.
Like he's frightened a bear massive. Yeah. And he growls at this bear and it runs away. And he wants nothing to do with the X-Men, but his sister basically tells him to like stop being such a pussy and almost tries to take off his head with a sword. And then he reluctantly agrees. And then it ends with sort of, it's like, okay, we've almost got the band back together. We just need that lovable furry elf Nightcrawler, but he's been kidnapped by some nefarious foes. And the character design on these new, as far as we all know, they're new. It looks like they're new characters, and they're sort of like, I think they're the Marauders, and they hint at they're working for some boss, and it's going to be sinister. Damn you, reading ahead and seeing the covers of solicitations from months out.
But Sinister's always a good X-Men.
Yeah, so I think for issue 1, that's what you kind of want. Like, here's what's going to happen. Here's a state of things. This is the team. And then there's a bit of a challenge and a future antagonist. And I think Lemire, he writes, he's got the tone of the characters down really well. He's a huge X-Men fan. And his area that he really likes is like the Claremont late 70s, early 80s. So it'll be with when Romita was the artist, and then on from there. So I think it's going to be a good X-Men book. I think it'll be better than the Bendis one.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same.
And I'll say about 600, like, I've gone on for a long time, so I'll wrap up 600 really quick. I didn't like it very much. It was not worth the wait. And the Mutant Revolution is that, like, well, I'm going to read the dialogue of Cyclops. I'm going to read the dialogue of Cyclops because it sums up what happens here. Because, like, the Mutant Revolution, and it goes on about, that's a strong word, and something revolutionary had to happen. And this is it. So this is after about 2 paragraphs of stuff. So the revolution is, what is it? The Mutant Revolution? That we're all here, all of us, every single one of us, every mutant in the world. That's all of them, guys. Did you get that?
Yeah.
3 times he said that.
Like,
on the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. All of them that were allowed to print that may not be in a movie made by Fox. And their mutant revolution is they just all come together and hang out. And then nothing happens. And I guess what he's trying to make is the point of it. And nothing happens. Like, look, we're not so bad. We're not going to, like, it's not the end of the world that we're all here. And I don't know. And then Magneto comes down and bros it out with him a little bit. He's like, Charles Xavier would have loved this. That's not a Magneto-y thing to say.
And
I don't know.
like this issue takes place before Extraordinary X-Men 1. So you're just like, okay, none of that stuff really matters anymore.
Yeah. And then Beast at the end, like they kind of hint that he's all scared. Like, I love that picture. His face is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's like going to become like a supervillain maybe, or maybe he feels bad, or I don't really know how they're playing that. And then should we talk about Iceman? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well,
sure.
Iceman, young Iceman, who had came out as gay when Jean Grey read his mind, confronts older Iceman to be like, you're gay too because I'm gay and you're me.
Yeah, that's essentially what
happens.
Yeah.
And a frozen tear bounces off the floor.
And then
He says he thinks
does
Warren's hot.
Older Iceman admit that he's gay?
10%?
Sort of?
Like,
He says he admits that he thinks
I'm
Angel's
10% gay.
Angel's hot, right? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
So the way he says that, he basically admits that he is, but all these years he's been hiding it because he wants to focus so much on the X-Men. And there's a line for me that's a little uncomfortable where he says something about he doesn't want to be persecuted for like something on top of that. Mm-hmm. And I just like think that's just kind of, I don't know how to feel about that. It makes it sound like,
well, I think
he's ashamed. I don't know.
Maybe like he is telling a story for someone out there. Like maybe someone had been hiding their sexuality for so long because they're afraid of being oppressed, and then was able to like open up. And I think that's an important story to tell. Like I think there's nothing wrong with that. Now, do I think that it was 100% credible the way Bendis pulled it off? Not really.
Well, it's also a little strange because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been reading the books. Does he not see the young version of himself who is out being accepted and not persecuted?
Yeah, and I think that, so there's one good moment of storytelling here where the way that his face is drawn, like there's like this relief and this kind of weight off his chest, and then he's kind of grateful to Jean and he wants to hug her, but she doesn't want to hug him because apparently Iceman's cold all the time and it might make her boobs cold. That's actually, there's dialogue in the comic that pretty much says that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I see what he was going for, and it could have been really touching and had meaning. And I think he kind of almost got there, but
did not stick the landing.
But I think at the end of the day, though, he did do something good. Like, he came up with a credible and plausible way to make a character who's a main character in the Marvel Universe a gay character, not like a North Star or a bit player, or bring in a brand new character who's gay because people may not have a history with them. So, kudos to him for doing that. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But it's also really weird that it's like the last thing he did. It's kind of like, okay, and I'm done my run now, and they're all gay. Late. Mic drop.
Absolutely.
Have fun,
right.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on from X-Men. Anything else that you were reading, Ian, that you liked?
Yeah. Doctor Strange 1 and 2 also were both released in October. I have not read a lot of Doctor Strange.
I don't think there's much Doctor Strange to read.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe there's like a definitive. Like,
Brian K. Vaughan did one.
Brian K. Vaughan did Doctor Strange: The Oath, which I really liked. It was a miniseries. But before that, there hasn't been any long-running Doctor Strange comic.
Which I'm not surprised by because, I mean, he's kind of a weird character, I think, to nail down and get people interested in. He's definitely been in some longer-running Avengers books, but as far as having his own series, I definitely understand why it's probably kind of hard to sell. But I was interested in this one, and I think I mentioned that on the last episode or a couple episodes ago.
That was when the books we were looking forward to. Did it live up to the anticipation?
And did it live up to the anticipation?
It did. I was looking forward to it because Jason Aaron was writing it, and I really liked his run on Thor. And Thor is another character who fits that same billing that we just described with Doctor Strange. So I thought if he could make me be interested in Thor books, maybe he'll make me interested in Doctor Strange books. And so far, it's been pretty cool. There's maybe some issues with him I've heard some people say they think he's kind of writing him too similar to like a Tony Stark. They already kind of look the same, and they sort of had him have a little bit of Playboy aspects, a little bit
arrogant,
and some arrogance. But I mean, for me, I wasn't bothered by that, and I didn't think they played up his Playboyishness too much.
I like that. Was that part of his character before?
Absolutely.
He's definitely supposed to be arrogant,
because he was
man
an
about town.
That's
right. And now my hands.
And then he broke his hands, and then that's why he's searching for someone to fix them.
So that's fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems to fit with what I know about the Doctor Strange lore. And
Jason Aaron's a great choice for writing.
And Chris Bachalo on art.
And the art's been amazing on the cover and inside the book. And the story's been pretty cool. Obviously, this stuff can get strange when they're just like whipping out like spell books, and with magic they can kind of do anything. So it's nice that it's kept, I think, an even flow and hasn't gotten too ridiculous. I mean, it's only been 2 issues, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've only read issue 1, and I'm in 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I was really looking forward to it. I just think Jason Aaron he's like the writer. If any kind of property that would make a great theme metal album, you want Aaron writing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically it. They're killing it. I like that book so far. But I haven't read number 2 yet, but I'm dying to.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, Doctor Strange is cool. I'm looking forward to the book. I'm looking forward to the movie. Sign me up for more Strange.
I saw leaked photos on the internet.
Really?
Did you see that? Of shooting in Nepal. He's cruising around with a beard. Yeah. Looks cool.
My one gripe is that on the cover of number 1, he has an awesome looking axe, and I don't think that showed up in the book from what I remember.
Not yet. Hopefully, he gets an axe.
I want to see this awesome axe.
And he's got a mace.
Absolutely.
Or mace, whatever.
So we know he's proficient in at least 2 one-handed weapons.
Well, kind of moving in from Doctor Strange to a similar character, apparently.
He took a level in fighter, apparently.
I am going to talk about Invincible Iron Man 1 and 2.
I'm done with my D&D references then. You can talk about Iron Man.
Thank you. Invincible Iron Man 1 and 2 by Brian Michael Bendis and art by David Marquez. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But this book was awesome. This was kind of like a high-octane spy Iron Man book in a way. He's Tony Stark doing, like, something's happening and he has to deal with it because that's what Tony Stark does. He looks to the future. He sees that's going to be a problem, tries to come up with a solution. That solution ends up being a bigger problem than what the problem he was trying to fix is. And then he has to still go about fixing it, and he'll do it all over again. And that's what's awesome about Tony Stark is that he just he doesn't live in the moment. Like, he lives 5 years from now. He lives 10 years from now. And I think that's what this Bendis run is really going to try to capture, because some Iron Man runs haven't been great with that. Mm-hmm. And it's fun. It's the Robert Downey Jr. reinvigorated Iron Man, because, like, everyone forgets that before Iron Man, the movie came out, Iron Man was kind of a second tier character.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, oh yeah, like, he's an Avenger, whatever. But then, like, this whole Marvel Studios and everything that people
I agree with that
is built on this, like, the charisma of Robert Downey Jr. Like, and that's kind of like leaked into Tony Stark, and it's art imitating art, and I love it because, like, this book is fun to read. It's action packed. He has an awesome suit that can do tons of cool things, and, like, the supporting cast in this is phenomenal. They introduce a love interest who is an interesting character in her own right. They make her interesting by having her have a cure for the mutant gene that she's just sitting on because of her own, like, internal politics and things like that, which is awesome. And then there's so many funny moments in this book. Mm-hmm. Like,
when Thor shows up?
Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Because there's, like, a scene where this girl is just like, oh, like, I thought you were bringing me to Avengers Tower to have Thor show up and try to impress me. And you see Thor in the background and Tony Stark being like, go away.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So amazing.
And, like, they're kind of the similarities that we just talked about with the Doctor Strange and Invincible or Tony Stark. Tony Stark actually has to go to Doctor Strange in issue 2. and he makes him high five and be like, "Oh, cool facial hair," and they make jokes about how they look similar, and it's awesome. This book's my favorite book coming out of Secret Wars. I love Iron Man. I've always loved Iron Man, and I'm excited to see what else can kind of come out of this Bendis run.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think you nailed the tone of the book is, you're right, on the money with Robert Downey Jr. It has that same kind of energy, and it's tongue in cheek, but also it's smart, but not too many like winks to the camera and like over the top. And the art is great. Like I didn't like from the preview art and like that promotional poster that Marquez drew of all the different characters. I was like, ooh, that looks really simplistic and modern cartoony. Like Disney XD kind of, but the interiors are great. Like the way he draws Madame Mask's mask.
It was really,
it's really good art.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I was like, I'll read the first couple issues and see what it's like. I've never really been a huge Iron Man fan. I'm a fan of Kieran Gillen, but I didn't like his run with Greg Land. But this I'm really liking.
Yeah.
One thing you didn't mention about it.
Does it have roller skates?
Is that Doom shows up?
Well, that's why I said interesting character. I didn't want to ruin all of it, but yeah, Dr. Doom shows up in the first issue.
Yeah, we got to spoiler that. Talk about that.
Is sort of with Secret Wars still running, as we already mentioned.
Well, this is the thing that's pissing me off a little bit.
And
like I'm liking it, but at the same time, come on.
We still have a couple issues of Secret Wars left. Doom plays a huge role in that. We don't know what's going to happen in it, and it's nice that we didn't have to go weeks without books by them holding back the number ones. But then you get Invincible Iron Man #1, and Doom's in it, looking normal,
pretty human, and he's kind of a good guy.
And
cares about his people.
It doesn't really
understands why they want to attack him.
Yeah,
what's going on?
So it does leave questions still as to how it ends, but it definitely gives maybe more answers than what we wanted before being able to read the end of Secret Wars, which is a little disappointing.
It does suck, but like at the end, in 2 years, you'll be able to go back and read all of Secret Wars as a whole and appreciate it that way. Like it does suck right now to be like, oh, like this is wrong. But I mean, Marvel is also a business, so you have to like respect.
It's true,
that.
And it's a bit of a tip of a hat to the original Secret Wars, where Doom gets basically ultimate power and fixes his face.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
if I had ultimate power, I would never have a pimple again.
Yeah, why would you?
No, it's not like I have many. I don't know. I have great skincare. And moving on.
Yeah. Now moving on. So I want to talk briefly about a Star Wars book that I read. Have you guys been reading much Star Wars stuff?
I have not any of them, but I've been thinking about it.
So, I don't know if you guys know, you may have heard out there in podcast land, there's a Star Wars film being released in December.
What? A new one?
Yeah. Act fast. Tickets are going back.
Pod racing?
Yeah, pod racing. Anakin Returns, I think it's called.
No,
Young Anakin Returns.
I hope Watto.
Subtitle.
Yeah.
Now this is pod racing.
Midichlorians. I think it's called We'll Always Have Naboo. But I read, so I was kind of curious, and I've flipped through and I've seen some preview art, and there's great creators involved with a lot of these books. And I thought, well, maybe I'll read one and see, is it are they good, or are they going to this as just a cash cow to milk the teat of this new property that Marvel has gone again? Mm-hmm. And that's totally what's happening. They're just they're seeing dollar checks.
Yeah,
they're using the Force to suck in the big old fat delicious money. Because I read, first off, the most creative thing I think maybe was the title of this. It was called The Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens Shattered Empire, #1. It was a miniseries.
Shattered Empire being the name of an expansion
kind of
to
the name of
a
this
space-based game, kind of based on some aspects of Star Wars. So that was sort of
okay.
I thought it was weird that they used the same words.
So it was written by, I didn't write it down, Greg Rucka though.
Okay.
Right. And
he's a great writer.
Yeah, amazing writer. I love Greg Rucka, and maybe I made a little bit too harsh on it. The art was amazing. The artwork in these things are so great. Seeing modern comic book art with all the coloring effects that they can do and everything, drawing all these images that we're so familiar with from film. And, Star Wars is so cinematic, and they're making it into comic book form. And the way they're translating that to create motion and action and tension, that's pretty good. The dialogue was very like what I would expect in a Star Wars movie. There was like cameos from. There's so many nods and cameos to what's familiar. Like, Luke, the way he acts, he's so like imperious now and confident in his new Jedi powers. So this book basically picks up immediately after the battle of Endor, and the Empire's in tatters. So it's kind of a little bridge between the end of the trilogy and what's going to happen in the movie. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping there was going to be some maybe, I don't know,
nods,
idea of what's going to happen or some kind of like, but it's kind of not. It's just a story of like, oh, there's like another secret base on the other side of the moon we didn't know about. We need to go check it out. And they introduce a couple of new characters. There's like a woman and a man who are married, but they're both pilots, so their lives are in danger. And I don't really know how to explain what I felt about reading this book because like it had all these great elements in it, but at the end of it, I was like, okay, well, that was a Star Wars book.
Yeah,
it's like big deal. Nothing.
The thing with books like that is they can't really give anything away.
I know
the people writing it probably don't even really know anything.
Exactly, and I think I'm curious to know what the other books are like. So I read it and I was like, they're really not really doing anything, but. I don't know if this doesn't make any sense to you right now, but so they don't do anything, but they do it great.
Okay,
like it's ultimately meaning. Well, actually, maybe that's the entire Secret Wars thing.
Can you put it like this? It would be like if you run a marathon on a treadmill. Yeah, you ran a marathon, but you didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not a fitness guy, so I'm not getting that.
Okay, well, I think it
made sense.
No, I got that metaphor.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's ultimately, and I read something like Greg Rucka, like on Twitter, was saying that it wasn't the story he wanted to write. So I think there's editorial.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know what's going on behind the scenes. And I think Ian, you summed it up. Like they probably want to, like, oh, and this one, Skywalker loses a leg. No, but they can't do stuff.
I would like to see the editorial note. Be like, this book needs more Jar Jar. Like, let's put some more Jar Jar in there.
Note to writer: too much stuff happens. Can we do less?
But like when you
more
say
nods to things in the background that people are familiar with.
When you say like sucking at the teat of this new property that Marvel or Disney owns, I mean,
who can blame
the
them?
Star Wars? Like Star Wars came out. There's a C-3PO book. There's a like Wook or like a Chewbacca book. Everyone had like Lando Calrissian. Like everyone has like these individual books now. So
how like are they just gonna like become just Star Wars comics? Like, is this what's happening?
I mean, maybe we'll discover that next month.
Dude, like look at the titles. Like, look online. I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to this, but like the guys who are going on there and writing, like it's like Stuart Immonen and Jason Aaron is doing one.
Wow.
Like, let's do it then. Let's read some Star Wars books.
Next
yeah, I'm down.
Let's read some Star Wars comics.
Let's make an episode about that. We'll all pick like one or two maybe series.
Absolutely.
And then
dibs on my boy Lando.
God, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Which one's
I'm gonna wear a cape.
Is there like a whole one on just like Jawas? I'll be in.
I've heard the Chewbacca one does not give him lines other than Chewbacca growls. So that could be interesting to check out.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
You can do that one.
Excellent. Well,
we'll do that for sure.
Let's do some quick reviews.
Yeah, what else came out in October?
Justice League God and Men. These are kind of the spin-off one-shots of the Justice League Darkseid War in 30 seconds or less. Buckley, what do you think of these?
I only read one. It was Batman. It was amazing. The scene with Joe Chill is killer.
Excellent. Ian, tell me what you thought of The Flash.
Are you talking about a comic book or something you guys did earlier?
Super awesome.
Yeah, it was. These are great books. They're great one-shots. If you're reading Darkseid War, keep picking it up. Batman, I don't know if you guys are still reading Batman. I still love it. I think it's interesting. I don't like it as much.
I think you mean Bat God, actually.
Oh no, Bat Gordon.
Bat Gordon.
I was still on Darkseid War.
Darkseid War. No, let's get through these.
Darkseid War is great. We didn't talk about it all this week, but we'll talk about it next month for sure in our recap one because it's just getting better and better.
Batman 45.
Excellent. Yeah. I know I wasn't 100% sold on Gordon, but I trust Scott Snyder and I like the stories telling. I think it's fun.
Bloom's great.
Excellent. Now,
Bloom's cool.
One of the other books that we kind of, I don't know if everyone read, but Karnak by Warren Ellis and David Aja. David Aja, amazing artist. One of my favorites. Drew Hawkeye with Matt Fraction, which is one of my all-time favorite books.
He did that.
I did love that art. Right?
Yeah.
But I did not check this book out.
Buckley, what did you think of the book?
Karnak?
Yep.
It was good. I'm going to need him to lighten up a little bit.
Okay. Are you going to read issue 2?
Yeah, I have to.
Excellent. I think so too. I think it's interesting. I get that Marvel wants me to care about the Inhumans, so I'm going to try to care. We'll see. It's kind of like being set up on a blind date with a girl that you're not really into, but your best friend set you up with the girl, so you're like, okay, I'm really trying.
Comics
an
and
accurate
cocktails and
description.
Marco's metaphors.
Yeah.
I read Uncanny Humans basically for that reason.
Because like Marvel, we get it. You're trying, and like I'm not opposed to it, but like, we'll see. Excellent. Other than that, I think that's all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, let me look at this. So Amazing Spider-Man, a lot of people are dismissing it as like a cheap knockoff of Tony Stark and a complete reinvention of the character of Peter Parker, and it's actually pretty poor. Let's also do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not hate it as much as you guys, though I have to agree they're Tony Starking him up as well. I think the criticism is more apt here than it was with Doctor Strange. But the Zodiac villains have been kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think Spider-Man as a character works better when he's combating angst. Like, it shouldn't be about Superman. Superman. It definitely shouldn't be about Superman, but it shouldn't be about like superhero problems. It's all about like, can I do this and also like, pass that math test or like not embarrass myself in front of that guy.
Miles Morales Spider-Man will probably
That's going to pick up the mantle and probably be.
That's why I think they're doing this with Peter Parker.
And Uncanny Avengers. Yee.
Yeah,
none of the Avengers books have been amazing, right? Or
let's talk about New Avengers as well.
Yeah.
It sucks because coming off like Hickman's run on Avengers, it's hard to top, and they're not doing a great job.
Yeah, Ryan Stegman, I love his art, but in Uncanny Avengers, he's trying some kind of new style, and it's I think the actual term is whack.
Okay.
I'm going to try to stick with him for the first arc, but it's not looking good right now.
Excellent. Well,
Captain America White continues to be amazing. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale should just write more like all the Marvel comics.
Yeah. Or they should go back and do another Batman story because Long Halloween's one of my faves.
Oh, it's amazing.
Excellent. Well, I think that's it for our October release issue.
I think so.
Anyone have any final closing thoughts?
No, when we do November, so we're going to do a monthly retrospective look going forward, and we promise to have more independent books. We're going to talk IDW, some Dark Horse, and Image Comics for sure.
Have your Paper Girls in there.
I know. That was good, man. I appreciate it. And we talked a lot about Saga.
Yeah.
Excellent. And as always,
Are we gonna
we're
wrap up?
broadcasting from
Full Pop Station in Goderich, Ontario. As always, we are a member of the Full Pop Media team, so check us out at Full Pop TV. And you want to know how to spell Full Pop? It's FAUXPOP.TV. The X is just silent. I'm going to try to make some X-Men thing there, but I've already talked the shit out of X-Men today, so let's just leave it at that. But yeah, you can go on there and you can find out how to contact us. We have a blog, we have email, we have Twitter. And so we're recorded here live and unplanned and unprofessional. And Mark Hussey, or at least we think it's him, it may be a Skrull. He's the producer, and he tries to create something out of this. And that's it. We'll see you guys soon. Keep reading comics.
Thank you for listening. Cheers.
Cheers.